Hi, this is another correction for the oopsie that happened yesterday. We also pulled yesterday on the digital ID that is coming in. Now we're just going to have a little bit of a chat before we pull tarot on it. But what I know of the digital ID is that, do you see how in the US they were closing their borders, the ICE officers are taking away people. One side is yay, the other side is how dare you, fascist, and all this stuff. And then in the UK, we have people revolting over immigration and saying, this is not our country. We want our country back. And then all of a sudden, Starmer comes on and says, I mandate everyone into getting digital ID by such and such a year. And if you don't get to work. And the reason he's bringing in the digital ID is because of the immigration that they actually caused. So the whole thing is we need to know who is a citizen. So everybody needs to get digital ID. Now, the great concern is that this is the start, this is the stand, because with digital ID in China, they have a social credit score. They can control everything, freedom of speech, what you do. They can turn this off, turn that off. And if anybody doesn't believe what's happening in China, I had a lash client, I'm a lash artist. And her family's in China. She's immigrated from China. And she confirmed all the stories of people being locked into apartment buildings, the apartment building catching on fire, and a lot of people died. So this isn't something to toy on. Does anybody else have any blurb around the digital ID that they want to say, or should we pull cards? If you have something to say, just unmute.
Just in reference, anything I want to about digital ID? Uh,
Anything you want to, Jerry. You do
oh,
you. Jerry always
um,
asks me permission to do things, and then he razzes me about being the leader. And every time he asks me permission to do things, I say, you do you. I should tattoo it on my forehead. You do you.
yeah, okay, good. Well, digital ID, of course, is going to be sold to us in some shape or fashion. So it really comes down to awareness. It's going to be, it's going to come to at it. It's going to come at us. It's going to be a conflicting situation. So some people are blinded to how this is going to benefit them. It's going to be sold to us as a way that's going to help us. In the past, it's like even like during COVID, it's been wishy-washy. They've been up and down. They've been saying, "Oh, well, if you get this, and then you can have that." So they've always been very wishy-washy with their whenever they bring out these kinds of events. But what we have going on in the near future here is, well, what's happening right now is it's being highlighted, and we can also say that it's off-worlders helping us. Th- was that CIA Atlas seems to come to mind right now for some odd reason. But right now we're being a lot of this is being shown to us right now. What's happening, and what's going to happen is people are going to come together and they're going to resist this, and it's going to be resisting this massively. Though, just for a couple of clarifiers, it's not going to be pretty. This is probably going to be it's going to be some people's worst nightmare. And really what this is the subconscious coming up, and we're having to face our greatest fears right now is what's going on. That's what I got. How did I do, Pam?
You did great. I find it very interesting. They are highly illuminating cards. So clearly, your cards are very comfortable with you and very informative, Jerry, for sure. They're great cards for this subject. Interesting to me that there are several twos, because for me, twos is about both relationship and balancing. So if you think of the geometry of the two, it's a line, right? It's a spectrum of things. There's one point here and there's one point there. And so it's about how do we
Huh.
balance that. And so the two of pentacles, which is the earth sign is the juggling of that, and the Two of Swords is the decision between the two. So, oh, I didn't see that you had Judgment. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So as you were talking,
You
I
came
was
up
just
with
reaching for my temperance card. This was the root of the
or
pull.
Temperance. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to keep talking about the temperance card on the root of that pull, please do.
Okay, so now we have the 14, which is a 5, which is also struggle, and you had 2 struggle cards, right? So this is an ordeal that we are being put through. So for me, 5 is the 4 elements with spirit, or Aka, the Akashic records, with spirit imbuing them and enlivening and animating the 4 elements. And that's why it's kind of like tipsy, because it is integrating a new aspect of the 4 elements, are integrating a new aspect of themselves. So temperance, while it is a 14, is also a 5 if you add the one, right? If you do the numerology and you add them together, you get a 5. So it's interesting, a lot of 2s in there, a lot of 5s in there, and very interesting pull, because it really is going to be about the coming together of things. And that's the relationship piece. That's the 2 piece. That's the balancing of things. And in my mind, what's critical and pivotal to the ushering in of the ID and people's acceptance and allowance of it is how deeply it's driven by fear, and how deeply it's driven by divisiveness. And the divisiveness is what causes the fear and causes people to want to protect their 2 realms, like each of their realms. And the Hermit is the going within, to find the light, the 9, the completion of all that, going within to find the light. And then what the Hermit does is, through that introspection, through that integration, through that seeking wisdom from inside, not outside, not external, inside, is what causes us to be able to bring that light outside and then be able to lead with that light. And that also plays with temperance, which is a
I'm going
balancing
to
card.
interrupt you because we have Salish that has to go, and I just wanted him to pipe in
Oh,
because I just love his messages from the beyond. Did you get anything from the Akash or from your guide?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it's effectively Jerry's cards and what PJ was saying. It is a fear behind it. People are fearful, and they're using. We all know the old methods of divisiveness to create the fear, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It'll be thrown out. It will be thrown out, and that's what I picked up. I think I picked the same up yesterday, and yesterday the cards said that as well. Jerry's cards did anyway.
Yep.
Yours one, yeah, you are too busy with the the cryptocurrency. Yeah.
Yes, it was
Mm.
such a crazy mistake.
Nice, fine, it's fine. No,
they're not
anyway,
related.
it's been a pleasure meeting you, PJ, and very interesting. And well, hope to see you tomorrow.
You too,
Love
Celeste. A
you. Have
wonderful
fun.
day.
Have
Okay,
fun
bye
with your
bye.
client. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Salish actually works with clients on the metaphysical level, so we will talk about that later when we start our website. So I'm sorry, Pam, go ahead. I'm sorry, I just wanted him to be able to give his little 2 bits.
I did. When he said he had to leave, I thought he was just going to go. So that's why I waved, or I would have
Okay,
stopped. So
okay. You're
apologies. I'm
good.
I'm learning this.
You are
I'm
good.
learning the
No
relationship.
apology, no apology. Is there
And
anything else you wanted to say, or?
well, I wanted to say, did you pull the 5 of Swords or 5 of
Uh,
Wands?
no, there was the 8 of Swords and the 3 of Swords as the clarifiers.
Okay. Did you pull 5s?
No, no, I did
Okay, I
not.
missed that.
There was the temperance on the top,
Yep.
and then there was the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Swords,
Yep.
and then it was the Queen of Pentacles. And then on the bottom, it was the Six of Cups, and it was the Hermit, and it was also the, oh, you know what? You might
What
have
did
been
you
right.
show?
I think
Yeah, so the Six of Cups, and what did you show with that? Wasn't that the Five of Wands?
yeah, there was the six. Oh, sorry. You know what? You are right. It was the Five of Wands. My apologies, Pam. It was the Five of Wands. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, it. Oh, sorry. It was a seven. I think it was a seven. I'd have to
I think
double
it was
check.
the I well, I don't know. We'll know from the recording, but
Yeah,
I thought I did misread the six as a five.
it
But
might have
what I
been the
wanted,
five.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I wanted to, what I want to say about the five is that while all fives represent struggle of some kind, like as I talked about the
That's exactly right. Yeah.
and the five, in my mind, from my perspective, the Five of Wands in particular, wands being inspiration and ideas in my world, which is one of the things I just want to say that for everybody, that one of the things about the tarot cards is that everybody has a different perspective and it's informed in many ways, including what we have inside. So, and that's probably the most important, which is why people promote intuitive tarot, because this information is in the ethers and we're pulling from the ethers. So you can't read them wrong. Even when you get them wrong,
I,
you can't read them.
I love that you put that caveat in there because that is so important for people to understand because anybody can do this. Great. Thanks, Pam.
Everybody, yeah, everybody
Yeah.
who wants to can absolutely do it. For me, the Five of Wands is one of my favorite cards because, to my mind, if you look close, especially in the Rider Waite, I don't know what happens so much in other decks, but in the Rider Waite deck, which you were showing, if you look closely at the faces of all of those combatants, they're different. So somebody sees it as a battle, another person can see it as a game, a third person can see it as a challenge, a fourth person can see it as an interaction. So there's many different perspectives on the idea of struggle, right? And so what do they say? Suffering is optional.
Yeah.
So the Five of Wands kind of demonstrates that, because life is about that. Advancing life is about that grappling, and how we see that grappling and our power within that grappling is going to inform how we're going to move forward with it and our perspective in it. So it's one of my favorite cards. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that comes. Are we still recording, Marcia?
We are recording until we stop recording. So, Pam, why don't you guys finish up on Jerry's read? We don't want to make the recording too long. So, Pam, why don't you pull some cards and then I can share mine?
You go ahead and share yours. I didn't pull today, so I've got to
Okay.
get them and shuffle. So carry on.
Thought I saw you pulling cards. But let's finish up with Jerry's first. Is there anything else that you guys? I had to go do something, so I wasn't really listening. But finish up.
No, no, we're good. We got her nailed down.
So, what was the whole summary for the digital ID according to your cards, Jerry?
Well, it's always the same. And if we were to just, what's that called? Bring everything together. This is just an opportunity for us to shift ourselves, and everything that happens externally is just a mirror for us to show us where we need to be in balance. So there's nothing to be fearful of. There's going to be way more of these situations, and it's going to come more faster and faster. So the more that we can get grounded and the more that we can bring in that awareness, which is what Pam was just actually talking about, was each of us has our own perspective. And so there can be a person sitting right next to us that, is in total fear of this, that, and the other. And once they go through that, the dark night of the soul, they sometimes say, maybe that collectively, that's what we're going through right now. It's understand, once we start to broaden our perspectives, it takes away the suffering, and then we no longer have to identify as being a victim anymore. We can look at ourselves and everyone else around us, everything else around us is part of us. So there's, this is all just a refinement that's happening. It's all it is.
Pam,
Earth's not going to end.
did you want to
The temporary.
summarize Jerry's cards and Jerry's read just for a little summary, just to kind of pull it all together out of that read on the digital ID? You said it right, Jerry. Do you have a summary for Jerry's read, Pam?
Precisely that it's the duality. I'm not surprised when you say it shows up all the time, and it's the same thing, because it is all roads lead to Rome. And there is this duality that we're grappling with, which is the twos, which is the nature of the earth. As we've moved out of singularity, we've moved into duality, and that's what we got to figure out as we go through our whole lives. And that's what, in my opinion, this world, this plane is about. And just the final thing that struck me was there used to be a television show where at the end of it, it was very popular, it was The Simpsons or something like that. At the very end of it, the closing credits, the words were, "I did that."
Awesome. Awesome. And hey, Pam, we could change that word from all things lead to Rome to all things lead home.
Right. 100% right. Yeah. So that would be my summary of the value of what we're facing, I guess.
So